In 1973, O.J. Simpson became the first member of the 2,000-yard rushing club. In 1984, Eric Dickerson surpassed Simpson's single-season mark. Now the exclusive club has a new applicant. It's Herschel Walker of New Jersey. Walker's qualifications for membership include the speed of O.J. and the power of Jim Brown. In 1985, Walker has run through, over, and around USFL defenses, rushing for 1,967 yards in 15 games. After joining the 2,000 club tonight, Walker will take aim at Dickerson's record. He needs a mere 138 yards. Herschel is not the only story tonight. Heisman Trophy winner Doug Flutie and the man he replaced, Brian Sipe, will miss tonight's game. Last Saturday, Flutie suffered a broken collarbone on this play when 280-pound Reggie White sacked America's darling. The next afternoon, Sipe separated his shoulder for the second time this year at the hands of the Baltimore Stars. While Herschel Walker is the heart of the Generals offense, fellow Heisman Trophy winner Mike Rozier is the soul of Jacksonville's. Enjoying a marvelous second year, Rozier is the USFL's third leading rusher. Tonight, two Heisman Trophy winners share center stage as New Jersey hosts Jacksonville. We're live at Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, the Jacksonville Bulls and the New Jersey Generals. The importance of this game where the playoffs are concerned. New Jersey can cinch a playoff spot with a win, along with Birmingham, Oakland, and Denver. For Jacksonville, they're trying to stay in the hunt for a playoff spot, along with Memphis, Baltimore, and Arizona. Hello, everyone. This is Tim Brando, and I'm joined by Mike Hafner. Now, the big story, of course, is Herschel Walker. Can he get his 2,000? And if he does, what must Jacksonville do to contain him?
I don't think anybody can contain him, Tim, but I talked to Jim Johnson, the defensive coordinator. He'll try two different tacks. 4 down linemen, 4 linebackers to keep Herschel from running outside, and then he'll try something new, 5 down linemen and 3 linebackers, and it ought to be interesting, although I don't think you're going to stop him. What you want to do is contain him.
All right, we've already talked about the 2 quarterbacks that you won't see. What about the ones that you will, starting with Ron Reeves of New Jersey?
Well, first of all, Tim, to be a top-notch professional quarterback, you have got to start, and you've got to play on the field. Reeves hasn't done that. If I were Walt Michaels, I would start out throwing some of those little play-action passes and some dink passes. On the other side, it looks like Lindy Infante's a genius when he signed Ed Luther off the San Diego Chargers. 1, he's experienced, and 2, he's won at quarterback for this club. Ought to be a real interesting game with these 2 young quarterbacks.
And it's, of course, paramount that the New Jersey Generals are unbeaten at home at East Rutherford, New Jersey, here in Giant Stadium. Similar coaching styles, ground control with Walt Michaels versus air control of Lindy Infante. There are the single-season all-time leading rushers, Dickerson of the Rams, 2,105, Simpson from way back in 73, and Herschel Walker, 1,967 yards. There's Herschel Walker, the man of the moment. It's a long way from Georgia to the Big Apple, but he's captured everyone's imagination on this night. His coach, of course, is Walt Michaels, who opened the door for this record by using him as much as he has during the course of the year. And Lindy Infante, the head coach of the Jacksonville Bulls, he cares nothing about Walker's stats. What he wants is a W so he can move up in the playoff picture.
Tim, they've got to win 2 out of their next 3 to ensure a playoff position, and they haven't got it easy.
Brian Franco will kick off for Jacksonville. New Jersey won the toss. Rod Pegues along with Danny Nider back deep. And it's a bit of a sky kick that Jacksonville finally winds up out of bounds with. Sam Bowers, the guy that downed it as it went out of bounds at about the 30-yard line.
Be interesting to see what Walt Michaels does. Will he make them kick over, which you can do, and refuse the penalty, or take the penalty?
On the kicking team.
Bill Parkinson letting us know officially the situation.
They can refuse the penalty, take the ball at the 30-yard line.
Ironically, that's where it went out of bounds. That's
what they'll do, too. And I'd do that, too. They tried a little pooch kick. They tried to just kick it over the top. They didn't want a big return on them. And they want to keep them down, deep down in the territory.
Offensively, New Jersey sets up this way with Ron Reeves at quarterback. Up front for him will be at center Kent Hull. The guards are Vince Stroth and Wayne Harris. The tackles will be Tony Osbun, pressed into duty due to the injury of Doug Mackey, and Don Maggs will set the secondary and Jacksonville defense, as well as setbacks and receivers of New Jersey in a moment. Maurice Carthen gets the call and is up to about the 34, perhaps the 35. Bob Nelson makes the stop. Defensively for Jacksonville, they'll run with a three-man line as their basic front, but we told you they'll use 4 or 5 guys up top from time to time. Clasby, Nelson, and Keith Millard will be the defensive forward wall. The linebackers, Tom Dinkle, Terry Beeson, along with Vaughn Johnson and Joe Costello. The corners are Donald Dykes and Van Jakes. Joe Johnson and Chester G are the safeties. Second down and 5, New Jersey. Just underway, first quarter from Giant Stadium in East Rutherford. Herschel Walker has the first down. Past the 40 to near the 41-yard line.
Stop by Johnson.
Maurice Carthen set that one up with a nice block, something that Herschel has become quite used to this season.
You know, Herschel says it's all my offensive line. I'll tell you what, he better take Carthen out for a steak dinner after every game. He's a great lead blocker. You see Costello go down. Number 9, that was Millard, 93, that went down, and an outstanding lead block. Herschel Walker's got lots of blockers who like to block for him.
5 down and 28 to go for 2,000. Reeves to Walker. Threw it a bit behind him. Beeson was there defensively for Jacksonville. Remember now, Beeson is considered to be a better run linebacker than pass defensing linebacker.
I like this call by Walt Michaels. Play action pass, first down, everybody's expecting run, and you want him to get a couple of completions, that being Reeves. Here, unfortunately, he threw it behind Herschel. He had an easy reception if the ball would have been thrown correctly.
Behind Reeves, Carthen, and Walker. Bowers, the tight end. Broughton is one wide receiver. Clarence Collins, the other. That's Collins at the lower portion of your screen. They fake the reverse, and Walker sets sail for 4 or 5 more. Met hurriedly by Vaughn Johnson, along with Joe Johnson. So a pair of Johnsons sandwich Herschel at the 45. It will be third down and 5 yards to go. Just 23 yards away for Herschel Walker.
Jim Johnson, the defensive coordinator, as we look at Walt Michaels, says, give him the darn 33 yards in the pregame warm-up so we can get over the hoopla. I like that.
The ball at the 45, third down. We'll call it a long 5 for Reeves and company.
348!
Reeves steps up and has room. First down to the 45, Van Jakes, who's had a bad knee, has been ailing of late, made the stop, and markers are down.
Tim, that was his great imitation of Doug Flutie, huh? Reeves on his first drop back pass, and this is one of the advantages. Reeves is tall, he's over 6 feet, but he makes like his injured counterpart, Doug Flutie, gets first down yardage, and now watch right at the end of the play. When the quarterback is down, that number 20 right there, Mr. Parkinson says you can't touch him.
At the 29.
Joe Johnson was the guy that made the illegal hit, and it is a first and 10 at the 30 now, just inside the 30-yard line after the penalty against Jacksonville. This drive began at the 30 of New Jersey. Carthen. About 6 or 7 for him before Bob Nelson made the stop. Out of Arkansas State. Now remember, he had a 1,000-yard rushing season just a year ago.
That's true. That's nice to have a pair like that, and also nice that Carthen will take, not center stage, but will subjugate himself to the great runner Herschel. Of course, he's going to the Giants next season, so he'll get his shot.
Well, he's getting used to the terrain. He lead blocks for Walker. A little cutback maneuver inside the 20 to the 19. Tom Dinkle, among others, in on the stop for the Bulls, along with Bob Clasby. There's Clasby out of Notre Dame. When you look up front at Jacksonville's defense and you see guys like Clasby and Millard, you're talking about good athletes, but guys that have had difficulty in defending the run from time to time.
One of the things that young defensive linemen do best is pass rush. As you get older and as you play more, you learn to play the run. Unfortunately, they can't get that experience.
Herschel, 5 and about 8 or 9 as he took time out to give Chester G a shoulder. That is quite a load. Herschel Walker, who keeps everything in perspective, even though he's this close. He realizes that the asterisk will be around his rushing mark and says that's of no problem to him.
Again, as I said when we were talking to Sports Center earlier at ESPN, it doesn't make a difference if it's in Pop Warner League. Anything over 2,000 yards is outstanding.
Michaels looks on as Ron Reeves continues to do his job. There it is. Give it to Herschel. Inside the 10 to about the 8. Should be enough for another first down. Nelson and Millard both had a piece of Herschel that time, and he's only 7 yards away now from entering that historic company.
It's kind of like the guys that broke the 4-minute mile. Boy, you get an exclusive company when you get up into those numbers.
4 first downs on this drive for New Jersey. Carthen moves into a slot left. Walker behind Carthen, edges inside the 5 to about the 4. Joe Costello, the outside linebacker, made the stop for Jacksonville. There's Costello.
When you put Maurice Carthen up in the wingback spot, that's 33 at the top of your screen. He blocks much like a tight end, and you see Herschel Walker using his block and then using his great power to get 3 more yards.
They're at the 4 officially. Second down and goal, New Jersey. Herschel has spilled a nice defensive play by Van Jakes, undercutting Walker. Jakes out of Kent State in his 4th year. As we mentioned, had a bad knee coming into this game. As a matter of fact, Jacksonville's secondary and linebacking core has been depleted of late.
Well, they've all got those nicks and bangs that you get at this stage of the season. We're at game 16, and they're all banged up. But when Herschel Walker's running a tailback, Tim, you got to forget about those bumps and bruises.
Chris Wampler comes out. Chester G back in as an extra defensive back on 3rd and goal at the 3. Could be pass time for the Generals. Bootleg, and he throws into some traffic, and it is a touchdown. Walter Broughton, and a desperation throw from Ron Reeves. Now you have to wonder if in fact he was out of bounds. It may be red flag time for Jacksonville. Take a look at this.
And we'll have a real close look at it. First of all, I don't know how Reeves got this pass off. He's waiting for somebody to come on the crossing pattern, is about to get sacked, and now watch to see if both feet are, yes. That's all you need. Feet don't have to bounce as long as it's in the... Oh, they did disallow. So they're going for the field goal.
Yep. They certainly did. An overrule from the head linesman is what occurred. So it's just 3 that Ruzek comes up with. New Jersey's lead over Jacksonville is 3, not 7 as you see it. We'll return in a moment. Take a look again. Was he in or wasn't he? They ruled that he was not.
Now, I'm not down there on the field, but as I heard, if the side of you falls with the other foot, it should be a touchdown. But they called it out, and so they had to kick the field goal. It's 3-0 in favor of New Jersey.
The initial call had been a touchdown. It was the back judge that overruled on the play. And the kick is fumbled about though it does appear that Jacksonville did come up with it. It's Norris Brown, a reserve tight end out of Arizona, that recovered Ruzek's pooch kick. That's the second one we've seen, and it's come from both sides.
They must be afraid of both kickoff returners.
Offensively for Jacksonville, Ed Luther will be the quarterback in his 7th year out of San Jose State. Up front for him, center Jay Pennison. The guards are J.T. Turner and Gary Anderson. Bob Gruber, along with Roy Simmons, will be the tackles. Mark Keel, the tight end. Alton Alexis at one wide receiver. Perry Kemp the other. Mike Rozier and Larry Mason are the setbacks. Mason gets the call. Up to about the 24-yard line. James Lockett made the stop, setting up New Jersey defensively. 3-man line with James Lockett and Jim Burr in the ends. Frank Mattias will be the starting nose tackle tonight. The linebackers, Kyle Borland, Maurice Clemens, John Joyce, and John Miller. The cornerbacks include Kerry Justin and Jerry Holmes. Gregory Johnson and John Preston will be the safeties. Second down and 6 from the 25, they call it. Rozier stopped by John Preston, the strong safety. He gets about 2 yards, and it will be 3rd down and 4 coming up.
Typical Lindy Infante offense, controlled, short passing game. Use it just like the run. One of the great things that he's discovered is that Mike Rozier can catch the football. As a tailback at Nebraska, all you caught was the pitchback on the sweep and the off-tackle play.
3rd down efficiency, and when you consider that they're a passing team primarily, a pretty good statistic. Luther to Kemp, incomplete. Gregory Johnson was there to provide coverage. Both Kemp and Alexis out in that pattern.
Here's the controlled offense. What you want is 1st down yardage. Look at Kemp inside. He runs the perfect route. He's open, but it's a poor throw. Up and away, and a very tough catch for a wide receiver on a hook pass. Got to hit him in the belly.
Larry Swider will punt. Danny Knight is back deep. He'll get it away at about his 15. 6 minutes and 4 seconds left in the first quarter. New Jersey leading 3-0. Danny Knight has plenty of room. Lost his balance a bit trying to make a cutback. Got it up to about the 35-yard line. Robert Young made the stop. 3-0 our score. New Jersey leading Jacksonville. We'll be back to the Meadowlands after this. There's a look at Doug Flutie. Remember, this is the first game he has not started in about 13 or 14 years of organized football.
A little reality smacked him in the face. Said, hey, by the way, son, you won't be able to play this game forever. That's always a shock, the first injury.
1st down and 10 for Flutie's comrades at the 35-yard line. Walker, the lone setback, needs about 4 or 5 yards, and 2,000 will be around the corner. Speaking of corners, he turns the corner for 2 or 3. Good job, Joe. Good job. Joe Costello made the stop. 2nd down and 7 yards coming up for New Jersey. At their 38-yard line.
I think they're right close to 2,000 here.
Yep. They say he may have it. He does have it.
Next one he works on is Mr. Dickerson's record set last season. Officially, he's about a half-yard short.
Not anymore. Past the 40 to the 41. Well, we got a modest hand from the crowd. Perhaps some premature jubilation on the last play. Now the crowd knows it. Business as usual for Herschel Walker, 2003. But remember, Eric Dickerson is the record that Herschel and all here at East Rutherford are intently waiting for. 3rd and 3. Reeves to Walker in the air. Now that's a record he already holds. In the air and on the ground for the first down to the 47-yard line. We're going to show you now how this living legend from Georgia got over 2,000.
And isn't it ironic that when he broke 2,000 yards, it was right at 2003, which O.J. Simpson, the first back ever to get over 2,000. So that's kind of ironic that he did it as the same way that the first guy did it. He'll get a lot more before this season's over, though, Tim.
Collins in a slot left on 1st and 10, New Jersey and Jacksonville territory at the 47. Reeves to Broughton, inside the 40 to the 38. Donald Dykes made the stop. The single season all-time leading rushers in professional football. Dickerson. Walker is number 2, and Simpson will soon be number 3. Sorry about that, O.J.
I don't think he minds.
At the 35-yard line with a 3-0 lead, New Jersey in control. 1st and 10. Herschel tripped up a yard behind the line of scrimmage and markers down. Nelson made the stop.
Offside on the nose guard on the defense. 1st down.
Nelson, apparently the guilty party there.
Trying to get a little extra cheat when he knows 34 is coming at him.
To his credit, he did make a portion of the stop, though it was illegal.
You know, it's interesting. The New Jersey Generals like to run right. The thing is, Keith Millard, the rookie, doesn't play the run well. He's to their left. I'd imagine we'll see a little bit more running to the left.
1st down and 5 now at the 30-yard line of Jacksonville. A little play action. Collins is out of bounds. Over there with him, Van Jakes. The officials tonight, the referee is Bill Parkinson, the umpire is Carl Pacanelli. The head linesman is Jack Pitchkes, the line judge L.T. Bonner, the back judge Chet DiStefano, the side judge is Ted Galano, the field judge is Mike Mathis.
Also an NBA official, Mike Mathis. Double duty.
Well, there was some time in the air spent on a pass play that didn't count for New Jersey. We've seen a lot of guys sky. Walker inside the 30 for a yard or 2. Vaughn Johnson, among others, in on the stop for Jacksonville.
Now he's in 2nd place all by himself, 2005.
We will continue to count down Herschel Walker's path to Eric Dickerson's all-time record. So far tonight, 10 rushes for 39 yards. And without Doug Flutie in the lineup, you know he has to go out and earn those yards a great deal more than before.
You notice the defensive backs are all cheating up, all looking to make those tackles. Keep them from making that long run. That's the key.
Got to look at an expensive clipboard over there. Walker. There's the speed of O.J. getting around Van Jakes. As we mentioned at the outset, speed and power. Chester G knocked him out of bounds.
Can you imagine a defensive corner standing there saying, what's he going to use on me? Is he going to lower the shoulder and use the 235 pounds, or is he going to straighten up and use the 4.4 speed on me? And if you make a mistake and guess wrong, he's in the end zone.
At the 24-yard line, 1st and 10, just over 2 minutes left 1st quarter. The Generals have owned this first half. It has been a briskly played first period. That is Collins. Inside the 10 to the 9, and Van Jakes is getting a workover tonight.
They know he's got a bad knee, Tim, and when you know a guy's hurt, you put the pressure on him.
Late hit on number 52.
This time, Tom Dinkle, in his 9th season out of Kansas, spent some time in the National Football League. There he is.
Collins on a guy with a bad knee, so you know he's going to get some depth. You run the patterns in front of Jakes, and there comes the late. There's the late hit. Tom Dinkle wants to make him pay for that first down yardage.
So now the ball inside the 5 at the 4.
First and goal.
This makes life a lot easier for a quarterback that's had little time on the field this year.
Oh, turn around, hand off to 34 makes anybody's job easy.
1:34 left, first quarter. Jeff Speck in the game in motion. Walker down a yard behind the line of scrimmage. Johnson, Vaughn Johnson, along with Bob Nelson and Chris Wampler in the game. There's Vaughn Johnson out of North Carolina State. Not a great deal of size at only 235 pounds. Many believe that's the biggest difference between the yards that Dickerson must carry against the yards that Walker must carry. NFL versus USFL, just size.
Size of the players, and maybe a little more quickness. If these youngsters had one more step of speed, they'd be in the NFL.
All right, our score is 3-0 with 56 seconds left in the first quarter. It's been an emotional roller coaster ride for Brian Sipe, out for the year now and perhaps out for his career.
Possibility. When I talked to him, I said, all you care about is the shoulder turn for the golf swing now instead of the shoulder turn to throw the football. He's a pretty good guy, though, Tim. I hope he makes the right decision, whether to come back or not to play ever again.
Most believe he could be an outstanding coach, though with the paychecks he's had of late, he may not need that kind of pressure.
It's true.
At the 5, second down and goal. Reeves in a bit of trouble. Weaves his way free for the touchdown. Sam Bowers. A good bit of negotiating by the other quarterback, not Doug Flutie. Ron Reeves out of Texas Tech.
Wasn't pretty, but it got 6. That's all that counts, right?
Ruzek for the extra point. Partridge will hold. It has been all New Jersey here in the first quarter, and they're only inches away from being up by 2 touchdowns. As it is, they lead 10-0 here at East Rutherford, New Jersey. Back to the Meadowlands in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Tim Brando and Mike Hafner with you. Monday night USFL action on ESPN. New Jersey with a 10-0 lead. And yes, Herschel Walker has eclipsed 2,000. Perry Kemp has it at his 10. And he's nailed at the 19, and there's a fumble recovered by Terry Daniels. Terry Daniels, the first to get a hand on it. Sam Bowers was down there to make the hit. Marcus Anderson made the initial hit, and then Daniels fell atop it. Take a look.
Kemp, and what a shot. Now that is pay the price. He doesn't even know where the football is, and there's the recovery. Daniels. Now let's go back and look at the great athletic move by Ron Reeves. This wasn't a well-designed play, but he makes a good move to get out of one, a Jacksonville defender, then his own blocker, and then makes the touchdown pass. And a great athletic move. Didn't look pretty, but it got a touchdown.
Perry Kemp was also injured on the hit by Anderson. Will return to East Rutherford after this. Here's where Perry Kemp was knocked up in the air and then later injured.
Marcus Anderson, I'm proud of those wide receivers making hits like that. Look, the ball just goes flying, and there's no chance. Perry right there hurt.
He came into the game with a pulled groin, yet on special teams, he's injured, perhaps out for the game. We will check on it and pass it along. In the meantime, more dirty work for Herschel, perhaps, at the 17. You guessed it, he's to the 16. Vaughn Johnson Johnson along with Joe Johnson, both in on the stop for the Bulls. Joe Johnson there, out of Notre Dame. Just a rookie. He too playing with a shoulder injury. And we have ended the first quarter. And the New Jersey Generals lead the Bulls 10-0.
Get ready, New York, for the first title game to come your way in 20 years. The championship of the USFL. Sunday, July 14th, the United States Football League will crown its champion beginning at 8 p.m. at the Meadowlands. This is your chance to see football at its best. Tickets are available at the Meadowlands box office and all Ticketron outlets.
That ice is not there to cool the neck of Perry Kemp. It is there to give him a bit of a breath and wake him up just a bit after that spill given him by Marcus Anderson. 10-0 New Jersey. Walker inside the 10 to about the 8. Nelson made the stop. Dinkle also in on the action. Look at that. Total domination by New Jersey, and passing yards are there as well, but they've all been set up on the ground, haven't they?
Absolutely, and you can't have 3 downs and out in 1 quarter. They had the ball 1 time on offense in the first quarter. Jacksonville can't do that now. Herschel, this guy will control the game.
3rd down and 2. Herschel burrows down to about the 5. That'll be close. Tom Dinkle made the stop.
First down, Tim.
They'll mark it as a 6, where it will be first down and goal. Walker making his way towards the record held by Eric Dickerson. Now just 88 yards to break the professional record, single season rushing record. That's Herschel right behind Maurice Carthen. Wampler was the first to make contact, along with Vaughn Johnson and Donald Dykes. Donald Dykes and Johnson both felt this one.
Herschel Walker can deliver a blow. Yeah, there's a defensive lineman who took one here, Chris Wampler. Boom! Hello. What a great shot. One delivering to the other. That was Johnson, the linebacker.
2nd down and goal from the 4. Herschel, touchdown. Doug Flutie says, all right, that's another one. Let me mark that down.
That's it. I'll tell you what, Doug's going to mark down a whole lot more yardage. With a 17-point lead if they kick the extra point, Herschel's going to control the rest of the 3 quarters here like they did the first. Uses his speed to get outside, but not too much of his speed because he wants to stay right on Carthen's tail and easily in the end zone.
Jeff Speck spiked it, but Walker scored it. And with 13 minutes left in the 2nd quarter, New Jersey now leads the Bulls by 17.
Tim, you mentioned that Speck was the guy who got to spike the ball. He also made a great block on that play.
17-0 our score. Ruzek to kick off. Reggie Butts now joins Larry Mason back deep, and Mason will take the heed of Reggie Butts' suggestion. And they'll start at the 20-yard line. Here's another look.
If you're a linebacker, this is what you get to see. Number 81 coming at you, number 33 coming at you. There's Speck. See him push 50 out of the way. And that's the reason he got to spike the ball, because Herschel saw that block and cut off Carthen's block for the score.
He always appreciated his offensive lineman, even at Georgia.
I believe he could probably make yards without anybody else on the field, but it's nice to have those guys there.
Ball control in the air for Jacksonville. We've seen none of it to this point. They've only had the ball one time. Luther, a little swing pattern out to Rozier. Nice bit of running by Rozier just to get a couple. Jim Byrne, along with Jerry Holmes there to make the stop. Gain of 2, and we'll call it 2nd down and 8 for the Bulls.
This is tough on the Jacksonville Bulls. They really don't have a breakaway threat. Alton Alexis can get deep every once in a while. Rozier's not the kind of back that breaks them for 80 yards. They got to get points quick, though, Tim.
The delay to Rozier. And he's stopped at the line of scrimmage by James Lockett, among others. Frank Mattias also in on the pile. Rozier, now you look at his yards, and what we don't show you is the yards he's gotten in the air. Much like Walker, he too, the total receiving and running back.
Problem is, with Herschel's numbers, everybody else fails.
That's right.
Mike's a fine running back, though, and has proved it this year after a tough ride in Pittsburgh last year.
3rd down and 8. Butts in motion. Another swing pattern to Rozier, and right on cue, a 1st down, Jacksonville. There's what we mean about Rozier, the total back. Mike Rozier coming right at the defense of New Jersey here.
Again, one of the great surprises for Lindy Infante was the pass receiving ability of Mike Rozier, and it's just going to make him a better back in the long run. Good hands there, good hand catch. And again, the question mark after he came out of Nebraska, can he catch the football? And he's proven it here.
It took 19 minutes for Jacksonville to get a 1st down. 11:25 left 2nd quarter. New Jersey leading 17-0. Rozier following Mason to about the 35. Mike Weddington, the linebacker, in his 4th year out of Oklahoma, made the stop. Another svelte linebacker at only 230 pounds.
Hey, with all these great backs, with all this quickness, you've got to be light enough to keep up with them or you're not going to make very many tackles.
Lindy Infante, who passed up a coaching job at Tulane, which he had in his hip pocket 3 years ago to stay with the Cincinnati Bengals, was a smart move. He wound up going to a Super Bowl and then later got his chance in the USFL. Has made good use of that time. 2nd down and 7 for his Bulls. The intended receiver, but Luther was given great pressure from Lockett and from Freddie Gilbert. John Joyce, the inside linebacker, also was covering on the play.
Nickelback Terry Daniels, the one who made the play. He didn't fall for the fake, the deep route. They were trying to throw the hook pass short to Butts, and Daniels, 24, you see him right there on your screen, didn't fall for it at all.
He already has a fumble recovery that led to a New Jersey touchdown on special team. 3rd down now. About 6 or 7 yards to go. Luther for Butts, and it's out of his range. So Jacksonville does pick up 1 1st down, but the only thing it really accomplished was getting Larry Swider out of his patio area and into the backyard.
Larry Swider is in punt.
Danny Knight will go back to receive the oncoming punt. There are Swider's numbers on the night. Remember, Knight had plenty of room last time and did return it for 11 yards. For the fair catch and fumbles it. And it goes right into the hands of Tom Dinkle, I think. It was Dinkle, yes. The linebacker on special teams got down in a hurry, and Lindy and Fonte says, thanks, guys. That's just what we needed. And Larry, if there's ever a time for it to be a short punt, this is it.
And maybe you want to know why Danny Knight didn't play in wide receiver. He lost his starting job, and there's part of it, no hands. And it bounces right up into Dinkle's hands for the biggest break so far for Jacksonville, and they've got to get some points out of this, Tim. Again, you've got to catch this ball in your hands, not your chest. And I don't think he got it on either part, either his hands or his chest. And it bounced perfectly right into Dinkle's hand.
At the 43, the Bulls now try to open it up. Luther, Alexis, and it's incomplete. Jerry Holmes nearly picked it off. The pass a little short. Alexis had a step or two perhaps on Holmes, but the throw behind him.
When you get a turnover, you want to try to score quickly. The defense doesn't expect to be out there. It's just a poor throw. He had him beat. He absolutely had him beat, and Luther threw it short. And oh goodness, Ed would like to have that one back.
Luther is known to have a great arm, though he has thrown a number of interceptions. In fact, when you look statistically at his numbers versus Seif, it's only interceptions that's the difference. Rozier, plenty of room for that Heisman Trophy winner inside the 30 and out of bounds at the 28 of the Generals. Kerry Justin knocked him out of bounds.
Mike Rozier trying to prove his Heisman Trophy has no tarnish on it either. There's a little cutback move, an outstanding move to get away from Daniels. And Gruber making an outstanding block to give him that extra yardage for the first down. But Terry Daniels, 24, was on the blitz, and Rozier just stepped right around him. He's got quick feet. He may not have the great straight-ahead speed, but his side and lateral quickness is outstanding.
At the 28, first and 10, 9:51 left, first half, 17-0 New Jersey. Not much at all. Jim Byrne plugged that hole in a hurry, and Rozier had nowhere to go. Byrne from Wisconsin lacrosse in his third season. And no, he didn't play lacrosse at Wisconsin. I know you were thinking that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you cleared that up.
Yeah, well, you never know. Second down and 9 coming up. Mark Keel has come out of the game. Robert Young has checked in. Chuck McCurley also in the game. Luther, under duress, did throw in the direction of Mason, but that play was botched up from the beginning. Holmes over there covering for New Jersey. There's Jerry Holmes. He's a great hit man for a cornerback and spent 4 seasons with the Jets.
Watch 96 James Lockett and 90 Freddie Gilbert. The reason this pass is incomplete is not because they sacked him, but the pressure on Luther. He had 2 big guys standing right in his face. There's a good look at number 90.
Freddie Gilbert. Yep. 3rd and 7. Quick look into McCurley, first down to the 15. Gregory Johnson along with Jerry Holmes over there.
Tackled by Gregory Johnson. First down.
McCurley, not a player we've seen a great deal of this year. Robert Young, Norris Brown have both been hurting somewhat, and that has pressed McCurley into action as sometimes a tight end and sometimes a wide receiver.
Chuck was a wide receiver in North Alabama, but they've moved him inside because of injuries. They hadn't got much time at tight end because Keel's the leading receiver at tight end in the league.
He's back in the game now, is Keel, and he blocks a bit for Rozier there, down to about the 14, or I should say about the 11-yard line. Mattias made the stop. Mattias forced into duty, along with John Joyce. There you see the linebacker out of Colgate. Mattias forced into duty with the injury to Emmanuel Weaver. Has a left knee problem, the nose tackle. Walt Michaels has also had his share of injuries as well this year.
Team 16, you're going to have some bumps and bruises.
Second down and 7 from the 11 for Jacksonville. McCurley again, he had it for a moment. I'm not certain that Gregory Johnson got a hand on it to knock it away, or if in fact McCurley just dropped it prior to the hit.
Real tough catch when you're running that quick slant and they throw it on the backside shoulder. Lots of pressure by... Oh, he thought he should have caught it. Luther wanted McCurley to make a great catch, and he didn't.
3rd down and 7 coming up. Now, granted, they are in Brian Franco territory, but they want 7 here, and that's why you see the timeout being called by Ed Luther. The Jacksonville Bulls need it. Our score is 17-0, New Jersey over Jacksonville. Will the Bulls be bullish? Stay with us, you'll see. 7:43 left in the first half. The Jacksonville Bulls face a 3rd down situation, trailing by 17. Tim Brando and Mike Hafner with you. We're glad you joined us on ESPN for this Monday night action. Luther again for Alexis. Alexis claiming that he had been interfered with, but the pass may have been uncatchable. Holmes was there with him.
This would have had to have been a great throw. Watch Alexis and Holmes. Going to make the outside fake. Now he turns inside, and yeah, he's got a little push on him. But I'll tell you what, nobody's going to throw a flag when that kind of pass comes at you. That was totally uncatchable.
With the ball at the 18, a 28-yard attempt coming up for Franco, and he's made 12 consecutive field goals, so the odds are on his side. And Brian Franco does not disappoint all of the Floridians that are with us tonight. The land of the Sunshine State has something to smile about for a moment. New Jersey's lead now only 14 here at Giant Stadium. Another great night of sports action on ESPN. Top Rank Boxing and then Sports Center coming your way. Another full night of sports here on ESPN. We know you'll love it. McGeese is back deep, and he will bring it out. Daring move by Rod McGeese to the 26. Making the stop was Mike Thomas for Jacksonville.
When you're the backup to Herschel Walker and your only job to run the football is to run the kickoffs back, hey, if it's 9 yards deep in the end zone, it's your only chance to get it to run.
McGeese was in the shadow of Marcus Dupree while at Oklahoma, so he is in a very similar spot here in New Jersey. Ron Reeves on the night, 4 out of 6. 44 yards. And some nice scrambling as well. Maurice Carthen up to about the 31. Now, he used a lot of running back vision to pick up that yardage.
All running backs today have to be good cutback runners. You never know where the point of attack block is going to go. And if you get stopped up, you want to cut back against the grain, and Carthen did it there and picked up 5 yards. Vaughn Johnson in on the stop. Tony Hayes is coming to the game in a linebacking spot for Jacksonville. 2nd and 5. Reeves to Bowers, incomplete. Sam Bowers already has a touchdown reception on the night. 3rd down and 5. There's that rustiness, hasn't started, got a man open, tries to get it to him too quickly because he's open. Doesn't have that feel of game time. You can be a great practice quarterback, complete them all. You get out here with the adrenaline pumping, it's a whole different story. New Jersey is pitching a shutout in terms of 3rd down efficiency, but Herschel's made certain they've only had 1 3rd down opportunity to this point. Reeves picked off by Jakes at midfield. Right off the hands of Collins and into the hands of Van Jakes. So the 2nd turnover now recorded by the Jacksonville defense, and they've done what they had to do to get back in this game. Again, Ron Reeves, poor timing on the hook pass. He gets it there too quickly. He didn't wait for Collins to set. Then he throws it too high. Got to throw the hook pass down between the numbers. And Van Jakes uses the tip drill to get an intercept.
turnovers from New Jersey. One on a punt, and one the offensive team turned over. Rozier, not much there. Boy, but you had to believe that Weddington, had he not gotten a bit of Rozier as he did, Rozier would have set sail going the opposite way.
We talk about cutback runners, and Mike Rozier, one of the best in the country. He won the Heisman Trophy cutting back with those great offensive linemen at Nebraska. Here, Weddington lets him slip out of his grasp, and if Mike would have one more step, would have gotten some big yardage.
Weddington out of Oklahoma made the stop. There he is on the sidelines, now out of the game, and a fifth defensive back is brought in by Walt Michaels on 2nd and 9. Luther gets away from Lockett and finds Perry Kemp for the first down, and there he goes. Out of bounds inside the 30-yard line. Now remember, Perry Kemp had a fuzzy head just a little while ago. Now he's back in the game, and Luther got away from a lot of trouble.
This was a secondary receiver against the zone pattern by the defensive backs, and Kemp says, I owe you guys one, so I'm going to give you a little extra effort after fumbling that kickoff. And he does a great job getting away from 3 or 4 red-shirted generals. Lockett inside-outside stunt with Burns 74. And one of the things that Brian Sipe couldn't do was get out of the way of the rush. Luther's not one of the great scramblers, but at least he's healthy enough to get out of the way.
1st and 10 at the 29, they mark it. Mason had it, hit, dropped it. They'll rule it incomplete. The hit made by Gregory Johnson.
Broken up by Gregory Johnson.
And you know that he felt that one. This is a massive hit coming up.
To be a great defensive back, if you don't have perfect coverage, then you make them pay for the catch. I think he paid for the catch right there, didn't he? Didn't he? In big dollars, too, he paid. Ouch.
So much for possession receiving, says Mason.
Yeah. Say, come on, I'm a lead blocker and an inside runner, not a pass receiver.
McCurley now moves into a slot. 2nd and 10. Keel inside the 20 at the 19 for the first down. And Kerry Justin made certain that Mark Keel got no farther. There's Keel, unheralded a bit. Out of Arizona in his 4th season, he leads the United States Football League as a tight end. Now remember, with all the run and shoots, there are fewer tight ends, but Mark Keel must be given more credit than he's been given to this point.
And again, Lindy and Fonny, in the controlled passing offense, you got to use that tight end a bunch.
1st and 10 at the 19. Mason now moves into a slot. Keel again. To about the 15. Kyle Borland along with Mike Weddington, a pair of linebackers for that man. Walt Michaels made the stop along with Lockett. He's a pretty active defensive end, James Lockett from Missouri.
That's some speed. That's what you need nowadays. In order to get by those big offensive tackles, you can't run over them. 6'5", 280, 290. You got to get around them with speed.
Ed Luther, who has quarterbacked 10 games this year, has a record of 5-5, trying to better his 500 mark as a quarterback in this league with this team. 2nd and 6. Keel inside the 5 for the first down. Terry Daniels collapsed on Keel to make the stop, and I believe Mark is down and ailing just a bit. There he is.
Got twisted around after the catch. Crossing pattern, again, this is the tight end's bread and butter. Perfect throw this time by Luther. Now watch as his knee gets, just caught the turf, crunched top and bottom. And I think he got that right knee twisted, and that's why he's laying right there on the ground.
All right, we'll check on Mark Keel. We'll tell you now, New Jersey leads by 14. The Bulls are making it a closer game. Stay with us. Jersey enjoying it to this point. Although their team now has lost a bit of ground, it's 17-3. Now watch here as Kiel is injured.
Terry Daniels going to lay on that right ankle, and then he gets bent backwards, and I can see him hobbling off the field with that knee strapped up, and that one hurts. Look at it again. Oh, that hurts me right up here in the booth, Tim, with my 5 knee operations. Ouch.
So enter McCurley again. Enter Norris Brown.
Somebody threw a golf ball at him.
That's right, from the Westchester.
9-iron from the Westchester.
From over at the Westchester.
Somebody practicing for the U.S. Open we'll have on ESPN.
It's not as though there are not a number of other sports in this area, right? First down at the 5. Rozier has room and has a touchdown. So the Heisman Trophy winner that wore a different color of red at Nebraska comes up with his touchdown.
Just pure speed here. I say he wasn't a great speed runner, but he's got enough quickness to get to the corner so he can use what speed he has to make it in the end zone. Outstanding blocking by the Jacksonville Bulls, and Rozier gets 6. They're tied now. Both Heisman Trophy winners got a touchdown running apiece.
Rozier's 9th touchdown of the year.
50, 56.
And the extra point is good.
Don't pull him out of there. Don't try to pull him.
General 17.
So now with 3 minutes and 2 seconds, Mike Rozier pads the Bulls scoreboard, and it's 17-10.
And now you can't use Herschel Walker just to run the clock out. You got to go to score.
Larry Mason led the way for Rozier.
We talked about Carthen being a great lead blocker. On the other side, the Bulls have got their own. Mason just enough to let Rozier sneak into the corner, and that's all you need. Great backs, all you need to do is screen your man. You don't need to put him on their back.
There's the knee, the right knee of Mark Kiel being tended to. Now, with Kiel out, Norris Brown has been banged up a bit. So enter McCurley at 210 pounds, and they're also working on Ed Luther's knee. Brian Sipe is over there sitting with him, along with, and now remember, Robbie Mahfouz would be the backup quarterback should Luther not be able to come in. There's Brian Sipe, who knows a lot about pain as a quarterback.
Luther ain't going anywhere. He's going to stay in the game. He's been waiting for his chance for 7 years.
Brian Franco to kick off. It's taken by an upback. Up to about the 25, 30-yard line, and then some. Clarence Harmon.
Stop by Butler.
Tony Hayes made the stop. And so now the New Jersey Generals, through their turnovers, have opened the door for Jacksonville to make it a better game. And remember, Herschel Walker didn't carry the mail a lot on that last drive for New Jersey before they turned it over.
There you see the time, 2:46. They're in the 2-minute drill. Will they run Herschel, or will they let Reeves throw it? There's the answer.
Up to the 40-yard line. That's 8. Joe Costello made the stop, the Central Connecticut star in his 3rd year.
We talked about the rookie Keith Millard and whether he'd stay home or try to be a pass rusher. And you see Millard coming in from the right, and he's right there to make the tackle. There he is again. See, didn't get pinched down.
Walker just gets a couple.
Got a first down, I think.
Yeah, he's met hard by Chester G., the free safety that came up. And it is a first down. And the 2-minute warning coming up. 72 yards to go for Herschel Walker. We'll return to East Rutherford, New Jersey in just a moment. The Generals lead it by a touchdown.
There's Mark Kiel, the tight end for Jacksonville, going off, and we may not see him in the second half after that knee got twisted and bent.
Certainly appears that way. He appeared to be taking that tape off as if to keep it off.
Oh, yeah.
2 minutes are left. First and 10, New Jersey at the 42. 68 yards so far for Walker, and he'll lose about a yard of that right there. Back to the 40, he's knocked back by Joe Johnson.
Joe Johnson.
Johnson coming off a shoulder injury himself.
If they
Rookie from Notre Dame.
If they would have had Doug Flutie, would they have run the 2-minute pass offense? If they would have, this kind of a slam against Ron Reeves, the quarterback.
2nd and 12. One of the few simple drop backs, and it works to Bowers. And he carried on his back Chester G for about 5 more. It's mostly been play action and rollout for Reeves until then.
Maybe Walt Michaels heard me and said, hey, we better let this youngster throw the football. And he finds his tight end in the seam of the zone. A perfect throw. Sam Bauer's been doing this ever since he came to the USFL.
Chester G went on a rodeo ride. Walker inside the 20 to the 19. A minute 12 is left. Generals have a couple of timeouts left, and they are in the hurry up. The out pattern incomplete, into and out of the hands of Walter Broughton. The critics of New Jersey say the problem with this team is that they don't have the accomplished receivers for either Flutie or Reeves to throw to.
It's hard to know whether they've got great receivers when you turn around handing off to 34, but I agree with you. And again, if you don't throw it in game action, you're not going to be able to get the timing down and really have a sophisticated passing offense.
3rd down. Carthen. That will be close. A bevy of Bulls stack him up. Among others, Bob Nelson, the nose tackle. Will entirely depend on where they place it. They're going to bring out the chains.
Either way, the clock will stop for a measurement, or if they make a first down inside 2 minutes, it stops.
And with a running back like Walker, it makes it a little easier to gamble if they have to go to 4th down.
And the Generals have 2 timeouts left.
All of that that we mentioned does come into play now with about 3 or 4 inches left for Walt Michaels and company. Jeff Speck coming out. Lindy and Fonte and staff know the cause. They have to play big time defense here. Broughton comes out. A couple of tight ends will be installed. John Jewell is also joined in.
If you don't have Herschel Walker, you might kick the field goal.
Jewell has become an eligible receiver, perhaps, having checked in at that end spot on the near side.
Herschel on the leap.
Reeves on the lean. That's it. First down, New Jersey. Could almost tell that linebackers on Jacksonville's side felt the same way. They were ready to jump up and meet Herschel.
They're taking 2 steps back. And Reeves, nice move. He slid off the inside move block and goes ahead. And there's all the linebackers waiting to catch Herschel when he jumped over the line.
A timeout called by New Jersey with 32 seconds left. Herschel Walker, now remember, he got off to such a pitiful start against Birmingham, but remember the Stallions have a pretty prominent defense in this league.
Also, Doug Flutie threw a couple of interceptions early.
But then came Orlando, and the streak got underway really with Baltimore. He earned those yards in a key New Jersey win. Houston was the big story, the record breaker, 233 yards against that ball club. And the rest of the games you see there, Memphis with 164. He earned those against a formidable defense.
Oh, yeah.
Jacksonville, he got 169. And it just went on and on and on. 209 at home against Memphis last week.
A couple pretty good efforts against a very tough defensive team in Memphis.
Carthen, and it's wide open for the touchdown. They caught Jacksonville in a bull of a blitz, and Carthen made certain that they'd pay the price.
Jacksonville expecting the pass, ran the inside trap play, sucker trap. And I'll tell you what, with the linebackers blitzing and the safeties playing man-to-man, I could have scored on that one.
You get the feeling Jacksonville was looking at Herschel's numbers as well. And there went Carthen, and he was all by himself.
Take a look at the inside trap blocks. Right there, Herschel makes the great block and says, "Thank you, Maurice, I just gave you 6." Herschel Walker with the inside trap block. That's a great play. They're coming on the blitz, and they're playing man-to-man. And when the linebackers don't get the back on the blitz, there isn't anybody, no safety there to help you out.
So now, with just 27 ticks left, we're back to a 2-touchdown New Jersey lead. And were it not for turnovers committed by the Generals, it would be all but over. A 24-0 lead would be what they'd have. There you see O.J. Simpson and Earl Campbell in his great years with Houston, Jim Brown. That's how many 200-yard rushing outings they had. Herschel Walker with just 2 here at New Jersey. So that tells you that Herschel Walker has got his yards perhaps the hard way.
Would you say that's the Mercedes-Benz of running backs? That'd be a great class right there.
Mason and Kemp are back deep, awaiting the kickoff from Ruzick. Mason is way back in his end zone, and he'll say thank you, but no thank you. And Jacksonville begins at the 20. Mark Keel, we understand, has torn ligaments in the right knee, and that's not good news for Jacksonville. Now, with 26 seconds left and a 2-touchdown cushion for New Jersey, one would think it's time to play it conservative if you're Jacksonville.
Sure don't want to make a mistake, so if you're going to throw the ball, you want to throw it outside so that it's not picked off, out of bounds if he's not open, or you want to throw it deep, and if anything, you throw it over their heads and not short. Also, you can turn around, hand off to number 30, and just let the clock run out if you'd like.
Speaking of Mercedes-Benz, as you look at Ed Luther, that might have been the Mercedes-Benz of running backs that you outlined, but Mike Rozier has a $72,000 Mercedes of his own in Nebraska red.
What other color?
Yeah, he's happy about that.
They wouldn't let him back in the state if it were blue or green.
Lindy Infante looks on. And even with that last touchdown drive, as you look at the Mercedes-Benz owner from Florida right now, Mike Rozier, at 28 yards. Even with all of that, you got to believe Infante's happy to be down just by 2 touchdowns.
Oh, it could be worse.
Luther's going to put it up, and he finds Alton Alexis at the 34. Preston and Holmes were over there. Preston from Central State, Oklahoma, made the stop. We're down to 20 seconds now. Clock did stop momentarily on the first down. He'll pitch it again. This time to Mason. Stopped at the 45. He does have a first down with 6 seconds left. Kyle Borland made the hit for New Jersey. And a timeout being called by Jacksonville. What's all this about conservatism?
Well, when you're down by 14, what the heck? And
it will be first down and 10 at the 46, with really only time for one play coming up for Jacksonville. Lindy Infante and the Brain Trust talking to Ed Luther. Ed Luther, who spent all those years behind Dan Fouts, came to Jacksonville only to find Brian Sipe. Now he's in the center ring, as it were.
I think he understood, with Sipe being a 12-year veteran, that his time would come as a starter here. I'm sure he didn't want it to come as quickly because of injury. I know he likes playing, though.
When we last saw Jacksonville, one of their 2 wins on the road this year came much to the dismay of Jack Pardee in Houston, and that was a great comeback win. And without Sipe, you have to wonder if they wouldn't have come up with that victory.
A brilliant second half by the veteran Brian Sipe.
46, just 6 seconds left. Inside pattern throw to a receiver that was on an outside pattern route. Incomplete with 2 seconds left.
Lindy and Fonte wanted 20 yards on that play for an out pattern so they could step out of bounds, then try and kick the field goal. Now more than likely put in 2 wide receivers deep. Uh-oh. You got an injured guy that won't get off the field there.
Mason's shaking up. Yeah.
Mason doesn't know where he is. They were trying to run the play.
I'm wondering if he didn't know the play and decided, well, the best thing to do here is make like I'm injured.
I don't know. He looks a little dingy to me, Tim.
But he was on the wrong side of the ball, and they were about to snap it.
The 10-second run out. The half is over.
Time did run out, so he didn't get out of bounds in time. So much for the heave-ho, and Ed Luther can't believe it. He is some hot, and he is letting the officials know it as they leave. He's saying, wait a minute, I'm playing for every down, give my guys a chance. I know we're on the road, and now Lindy and Fonte chimes in.
You know what the argument is? They called him for delay a game because he wouldn't get off the field.
Now they're bringing them back.
Yeah, and the band's on the field. It's going to be tough to play. What is this? The last few minutes of the Cal-Stanford game? They're going to give him that one more play.
Now the thing to do is go ahead and run the play with the band on the field.
Yep, and then lateral it 9 times and you get an automatic score.
Phil Parkinson there, you see. There's the band. Now run the wing right, reverse left.
That's right.
Ball. I need a ball.
I like the band, though. That's a new move for them. They get up
2 seconds left. We'll have one more play.
Well, they ruled they had to give Mason time to get off the field.
I got to get a ball, Parky. Just relax. Got to get a ball.
Someone said just relax, and I'm sure they are now, but Luther was not too relaxed a few moments ago.
Look at Walt. I don't want to hear this. Why am I not in talking to my team at halftime?
The side judge and the line judge apparently got word to Parkinson that they agreed with Ed Luther's vehement request.
Now, they got to let Mason get off the field if he's hurt. They just take away a timeout.
Well, I was fooled. I thought perhaps he hadn't been hurt. Luther lets it fly for McCurley. And it's picked off by Gregory Johnson. He's up to the 30-yard line. Harry Kemp, the intended receiver, and it is now the end of the half.
Believe it or not.
And Lindy and Fonte still upset, looking for pass interference perhaps. Coming up at halftime, David Sullivan and the Men in Halftime Report. Mike Hafner and I will return in just a few moments.
The USFL halftime show continues. We've got highlights now from some of the first half action between the New Jersey Generals and the Jacksonville Bulls. In a game so far dominated by the Generals, a milestone night for Herschel Walker midway through the first quarter, up the middle for about 4 yards to pass the 2,000-yard mark for the season. Only O.J. Simpson and Eric Dickerson have reached that plateau at a 16-game mark in a season. And so Herschel Walker hits the milestone in a 10-0 General lead. They go to Walker, 4-yard sweep to the left side, and the score 17-0. Even injured quarterback Doug Flutie likes what he's seeing. Another Heisman Trophy winner gets into the act when Mike Rozier puts Jacksonville on the board late in the second quarter, scoring on this 5-yard run. That makes it 24-10 New Jersey. That's the score now coming up on the second half. Let's go back for the second half with Tim Brando and Mike Hafner.
All right, David, thank you very much. Tim Brando along with Mike Hafner back at Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. The Generals leading the Bulls by a score of 24-10 here at halftime. And statistically, when you look at this game, obviously more opportunities for Herschel Walker or Maurice Carthen to run with the ball opens up more rushing yardage, and that is the most noticeable statistic that we see.
And when you've had the ball for almost 8 minutes more than the other team, that means you're putting it on the ground and not throwing it in the air, and you can see that obviously. 32 yards rushing for Jacksonville, 120 yards for New Jersey, most of that by Herschel Walker. It's interesting, Jacksonville's thrown 20 times and New Jersey only 10. They've run the ball 28 times, New Jersey, and 8 times for Jacksonville, and you see it right there in the statistics. Ball control on the ground with 34, Herschel Walker.
And both teams have been opportunistic with turnovers and making something happen. Now, New Jersey's possessions, and there you see it, touchdowns, well, on one long drive, one semi-long drive, and the other by virtue of a turnover.
That turnover after the fumble on the kickoff was key. Now look at Jacksonville's possessions. They haven't had the great field position early because of the 2 punts. They had to punt, then they came back, whipped the turnover, got the field goal, then got it at midfield and the touchdown, and if they wouldn't have thrown the interception down there at the end, they might have made this a little closer.
Herschel Walker, who still needs a few more yards to bypass Eric Dickerson. 64 in total as our countdown continues, as Walker makes his way into Pro Football record books. Ruzek will kick off, Jacksonville to receive to start things here in the second half. Butts and Mason are back deep for Jacksonville, and this is Reggie Butts at his 8. Jackknifed at the 23-yard line. Making the stop for New Jersey was Lamont Jeffers, the linebacker, as Ed Luther makes his way out. 10 of 20 in the first half. 98 yards, but there again, an interception, and that's been his problem throughout this season while substituting for Brian Sight.
2 interceptions for every 1 touchdown pass, and it ought to be the other way around if you're an effective quarterback.
Kemp and Alton Alexis are the wide receivers. That's Perry Kemp at the top of your screen. Rozier, the lone setback, with Mason in the slot. Rozier breaks 1 tackle. He got away from Jerry Holmes and then was spun down by Jim Byrne, the right defensive end, who made his way over.
Lindy Infante wants his offense to do this first, a first down, then put together another first down, and especially a drive. You don't want to come away from here with 3 downs and punt and let Herschel Walker and the boys again control the time on the clock.
It's been said many times, an old axiom, but the first few moments of any half is awfully important, especially when you're down by a couple of touchdowns.
That first 65-yard drive set the first half tone for New Jersey.
Following some blocking, Rozier can only get a couple. Bob Gruber was leading the way, but good lateral pursuit from New Jersey. And the stop was made by Kerry Justin, the cornerback. 3rd down and 8 coming up.
Rozier might have missed his cutback move there, and he'll come out in the 3rd and long situation.
Mason stays in. McCurley is in the game, along with Alexis and Kemp. Luther is down, and Byrne got in there. Jim Byrne, who's been quite active, 6'4", 278 pounds in his 3rd year.
Throw it, so this means run, right?
Well, it means run for nothing. If you're a Jersey fan, Vaughn Johnson, along with Joe Costello, in on the stop for Jacksonville. Vaughn Johnson has done a pretty good job. In fact, all of these linebackers have done a good job of at least containing Walker. We talked at the outset, they wanted to make certain that Walker didn't get the big gainer.
The long run, and he hasn't had one of those tonight. I didn't say he gained lots of yardage because he was in the eye. I just say they'd run it.
You're right. 2nd and 13. Carthen, the lone setback. Walker's out in a passing pattern, and Reeves does the Doug Flutie act. Inside midfield, tackled at the 49 by Beeson, Johnson, and Dinkle. Reeves has gone back in the pocket only a couple of times. One time he completed a long pass to Bowers. The other 2 times he went on a running spree. Not bad for Ron Reeves. 3 rushes for 22 yards. Third down and 5.
Play action pass or run.
Herschel. That's the first down, and there he goes. He nearly broke it. Down to the 35-yard line. Donald Dykes made the stop. Walker was close to picking up a number of the 60 or so that he needs to pass Dickerson.
Again, the great lead block by Carthen inside, and Herschel with his speed outside breaks 1 tackle and then is tripped up for the big gain. But watch 93, Keith Millard trying to pinch down to keep Walker outside, and he just gets hammered inside, and Herschel's going to pick up lots of yardage if the defensive ends get caved in like that.
At the 32 of Jacksonville, first down. Carthen, following a nice block from tackle Don Maggs in his second year out of Tulane, Carthen picks up a healthy chunk as well. He is spilled by Bob Nelson, the nose tackle, at the 26-yard line of Jacksonville. A gain of 6, second and 4 coming up.
There's a big gain by Walker because of an outstanding block by Mackey. Then they go back to the right tackle, and Maggs makes a great block, and Carthen gets some yards. This team knows how to run the football.
10 minutes left in the third quarter, and the Generals already leading by 2 touchdowns. They knew that one was coming. Everyone stayed home. Bob Clasby, the defensive end. And Joe Costello as well in on the stop. Joe Costello, as we look at Walker, only needs 52 now to break the Eric Dickerson mark.
Second and 4, you know they're going to Herschel, probably inside. Both the defensive linemen and the linebackers stay at home, and Herschel still gets 2 yards.
Third down and 3. What a thoroughbred he is.
They're in the I formation again, Tim, and now they break out of it. They're still in the running formation, though.
That's Clarence Collins. Out of bounds, they'll rule it. And incomplete. He lost control of it as well. Van Jakes was down there with him. They have been picking on Van Jakes all evening long.
They know he's got a bad knee. There's Collins. Jakes did a heck of a job. Just got his hand up in time to get it out of Collins' way so he couldn't make the catch. Good job by a guy who's playing hurt.
So now with the ball spotted at the 32, Partridge to hold, Ruzek to kick on 4th and 3. He missed it. Wide to the left. Now he did make 1 field goal, but not that one. He has 1 on the evening for 27 yards out. We'll return in just a moment. Our score, 24-10 New Jersey. Not this time for Roger Ruzek. We'll return. Welcome back to the Meadowlands, everyone. Tim Brando and Mike Hafner with you. Just underway, third quarter, 24-10. New Jersey leading, and Jacksonville has it. First and 10 from the 25. Rozier out to about the 32-yard line. They got about 7 that time. It'll be second down and 3 coming up.
If you've got the linebackers playing run on first down, you want to sneak your back up, throw him a little quick one over the middle if they're not going to cover him one-on-one, and look for the run. And again, Mike Rozier with a good hand, something that no one expected from the Nebraska tailback out of college.
Joyce and Borland, the 2 linebackers, sandwiched him. They'll call it second and 2 now. Following Marvin Lewis, Rozier in a heap of trouble. Byrne again, along with Freddie Gilbert, the defensive end, making the stop. Freddie Gilbert, as you look at Kyle Borland there, he too coming off a little bit of a problem, a sprained toe. in action tonight. I was about to mention that Freddie Gilbert was the most valuable player of the '83 Hula Bowl, and he, of course, has been with Herschel Walker for some time.
Georgia boys stick together, huh?
Third down conversions, 2 of 6 now for New Jersey. I should say for Jacksonville, and they have a tough one coming here. McCurley, incomplete. Daniels in position for the tip drill interception, but it didn't happen. Some people say those types of patterns are hospital catches.
They're also pick plays. Watch Alexis try to pick off 37. And yes, it was a pick, but McCurley forgot to catch the ball. And boy, that was a slick pick, too. He got out of the way just in time. You can't do that, but they won't call it unless it's really obvious. Jerry Holmes got picked right off.
Sliders punted 3 times for 40 yards. 4th and 5 now from the 30 for Jacksonville. Danny Knight found the seam to the 45. Danny Knight, since that fumble, has come up with a couple of nice returns to give New Jersey plenty of room. We'll return in a moment. First and 10, New Jersey at their 45. They lead 24-10. Herschel, 5, 10, and then some. Look out, record. Walker, touchdown. Just the way you draw it up if you want the record. 55 yards for Herschel Walker. That's a new pro football record. Move over, Eric Dickerson. The land in Tinseltown must make way for this star from near the Big Apple.
Tim, we talked about it at halftime. We want him to make a big run. We wanted a big run to break the record, and I'll tell you, he did it first with power. Watch how many tackles he breaks. 2 arm tackles right there, 3, 4, and now he uses speed, and nobody's going to catch Herschel Walker. He can break 4.4 in the 40, and he breezes to the new pro football rushing record.
Here's where it stands officially now for Herschel Walker. (2,111 to 2,105), and Simpson from 73 with 2,003.
Now he broke 5 tackles, Tim. Then he uses speed. And this is what the great backs have, the ability to break tackles, and then once they get behind you, he ain't going to catch them.
And at a time when many a rich running back goes for a couple of downs and comes out, Herschel Walker keeps on keeping on. And that's why he is a true star player in any league. Larry Mason gets it. He's up to about the 25-yard line, and it will be first and 10 for Jacksonville from that point.
Well, they're buzzing here over Herschel, huh? There he is. One more time again, watch the broken tackles. Unbelievable, the strength of this young man. 1, 2, 3. Bumps into his own man. 4. And now, see you later. The Georgia dog is going to outrun everybody from Jacksonville.
And for the record, he broke 2 tackles by linebackers that were in the NFL. Terry Beeson, who spent time in Seattle. Tom Dinkle, who also spent some years with the Cincinnati Bengals. Log that in your memory bank. To the 31-yard line, Larry Mason takes it in. John Miller, the outside linebacker, made the stop.
Well, we'd be able to tell our grandkids that we were here on a historic night, huh, Tim?
You betcha. 2nd down and 5 coming up. That's something that everyone remembers, not just Walker, not just the Generals, and not just Lindy and Fonte and staff, but everyone that was here can recall this moment.
Now, there'll be 350,000 that saw Herschel break it.
2nd and 5 now for Jacksonville. Alexis for the first down and out of bounds at the 43-yard line. There he is. As quiet and as unassuming as he was while in college. He takes it all in stride. And these fans are enjoying it, and they were expecting 35 to 40,000 on hand for this game. I think they have that. This is also an area which has a lot of other activity to be thinking about besides New Jersey and Herschel Walker, but they're here tonight.
He's made his mark, though, Tim.
First down, Jacksonville at their 43. That one was nearly picked off. Jerry Holmes was there. Alexis went inside, the pass outside. 2nd and 10, Jacksonville.
I got a couple that bounced about 5 feet in front of me. I figured I was so slow they couldn't hit the ground.
5 minutes, 38 seconds left, 3rd quarter. Luther threw that one over everyone. This is a big series for Jacksonville now, and all of the hullabaloo with Herschel Walker's record. It's still a 3-touchdown game, but 5.5 minutes left. Walt Michaels knows with Luther he still must be concerned. And if you're Jacksonville, you can say, all right, that's out of the way. Let's lull them to sleep just a bit. While we've got a moment, let's go ahead and move in while everyone's so pumped up about Walker.
You get a quick touchdown here, and you're right back in the game. 2 touchdowns for any professional football team, especially with the passing arm of Ed Luther. You're not out of a football game.
3rd down 10 at the 44, Jacksonville. On the other side of the coin, something like that can only pump up your teammates. And Lockett comes through with the sack of Ed Luther.
96 Lockett has the great speed. And watch Ed Luther, and a little game going on inside, and just flat beat his offensive tackle to the outside to get the sack.
That's a couple of sacks now for the Generals tonight. Accruing 22 yards in losses for Jacksonville. Swider to punt it away, and Danny Knight again back deep. 4th down and 25. Again with a nice return off the punt to the 49-yard line. A lot of tough decisions were made by Herschel Walker. We have markers down. They're discussing it now with Clarence Harvin, the special teams captain, among others.
Holding, close possession foul on the defense, number 56. Penalty enforced, the close possession foul.
That'll back him up 10 yards. Dumont, reserve linebacker, the guilty party. Walker goes for more yards when we come back to the Meadowlands. And Mike Hafner back again with you from the Meadowlands in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Giant Stadium. Herschel Walker has already broken the record. And we're back to business.
High formation, that means run.
And Carthen is up to about the 30-yard line.
Herschel not going to rest on his laurels, is he? He's still in there.
Curtis Anderson, among others, in on the stop, along with Terry Beeson. I was about to mention, he made a lot of tough decisions, leaving Georgia the way he did, coming to the USFL the way he did, and he's towed the line. He has absolutely towed the line to every statement that's been made critically about him. 2nd and 4, and there he goes. That's a first down, beyond the 35 to the 36. Markers are down. Preliminary indication against New Jersey. Vaughn Johnson made the stop.
Tight end on the offense. Still 2nd down.
Sam Bowers, a little wiggle before the snap.
Bowers already has a touchdown reception early in the game. New Jersey took advantage of Jacksonville mistakes. The official attendance being given 36,465. Second and 20, and Maurice Carthen up to about the 26-yard line. Clasby made the stop, along with Costello. There's Clasby in his 3rd year out of Notre Dame, 6'5", 260 pounds. The Bulls are a team that have the kind of linemen that are so adept at defensing the pass. We mentioned that they were susceptible to a good running game.
And this one might be the best one around.
Yep. 33 and 34 have come up with a number of yards for the team in red tonight. We're down at 6, New Jersey from the 28. Collins knocked out of bounds shy of the first down at the 30. Baptiste, along with Jakes, knocked him out of bounds. By the way, once Jacksonville does get the ball offensively, they will be without the services of backup running back Marvin Lewis, who had been seeing a lot of playing time. He's got a strained right knee, and with Mason and Rozier, the only running back that has any experience whatsoever is Mike Whiting to back up either or both.
And remember, Mason was a little dingy for a while there, so he's not at 100% either.
Yeah, he was the subject of our fantasy play at the end of the half. Oh, block punt. Yep. Joe Johnson blocked it, and then it was picked up by Gregory Johnson to the 35-yard line.
Problem is you can't advance a block punt on offense.
And Partridge is hurt.
You can't pick up a block punt and run it. As soon as you touch the ball's dead. The ball would go back to Jacksonville. But it sure looked fun, didn't it? Rick Partridge hurt, though.
I got excited. There's a 44-yard run that doesn't count. Here comes the roughing. Now watch Johnson, Joe Johnson, among others, in here on Partridge.
Remember, it's not roughing if you block it. If you block it, you can't rough the kicker. That's in the rules. So Jacksonville will take over 1st and 10, but he got drilled. When your leg's up in the air, you're unprotected. But again, there's no penalty. If you block the punt, you can run into the kicker all day. Let's take another look and see if he got that leg while it was still up in the air. Oh, yeah. See, when you get hit there, you're totally defenseless.
And it was Joe Johnson that got to him first. We'll check on Partridge, and we'll return in a moment. New Jersey leads it 31-10. We'll check on Partridge's condition when we come back. Rick Partridge coming off, and again explain that rule.
I will. The punting team cannot advance a block punt. The receiving team who blocked it can advance it. So the ball goes right over to Jacksonville.
2 minutes, 2 seconds left, 3rd quarter. Jacksonville down by 3 touchdowns, and they have a break now. Rozier to the 29-yard line. John Preston made the stop, the strong safety.
Good play on 1st down. First of all, New Jersey's playing you for the pass, so you run the draw play on 1st down. To negate the rush a little bit, leave it in the back of the mind of those wild men, Lockett and Byrne, who are putting on the big pass rush. Remind them that they can run the draw play and beat you.
Ed Luther and his offense obviously recognized that they must cash in here. McCurley moving into a slot left.
Yeah, you want to score before they go into the fourth quarter, and they can make a game out of it.
Swing pattern out to Mason. Another first down. Inside the 23, Terry Daniels made the hit, and he's taking his time getting up.
Luther to Mason. Stop by Daniels.
As a matter of fact, he's still not up.
It's been one of the most effective pass plays for the Jacksonville Bulls all night. The swing pass out of the backfield, either to Mason or to Rozier. Boy, when you take on a big, tough fullback like that, right in the thigh, you're going to feel it on your shoulder.
Daniels, who came up with a fumble recovery tonight in his fourth season, a Tennessee Volunteer. Walt Michaels and staff look on, along with Doug Flutie.
Street clothes. That's a strange uniform for him on a game night, right?
Terry Daniels again being tended to. We've seen a number of these kinds of injuries tonight.
I'll tell you, there's great running backs on both teams. Tough running backs. Now, whether you got a head or a shoulder in there, you can get a real tough neck injury if you get the side of the helmet. If you get the shoulder right on the thigh, that'll take care of you too. And he looks a little banged up.
Fortunately for New Jersey's defense, they do have good depth in their secondary. More depth than the average USFL team in Week 16.
You would imagine that from Walt Michaels, being a former linebacker in the National Football League and a defensive coach. He wants those good defenders. He knows he can't win if the other team's scoring 40 points on you.
Well, there's some movement.
That's good to see him get up like that.
Anytime a guy gets undercut like that, you really feel for his pinched neck, that kind of shoulder, a problem.
Neck.
The story to this game, for those of you that may have just joined us, Herschel Walker has broken the all-time single-season rushing mark, surpassing Eric Dickerson with a 55-yard touchdown run in the early portion of the third quarter. Took a 24-10 game to make it 31-10 as Daniels is on his way to the sideline. So that's where we stand now. There's Walker chewing the fat with Fred Hessen, among others. Chris Palmer, the offensive coordinator, talking to Doug Flutie right now. He's been taking notes all night. Doug Flutie says it's nice to just keep on writing it up. 5 more for Herschel, 10 more for Herschel.
Let's see, how would I have run that play? Would I have turned inside and handed off or outside? Makes quarterback's job easy when 34 is sitting behind you.
There's another quarterback, Ed Luther. Facing now a 1st and 10 at the 21-yard line of New Jersey. 30 seconds left, third quarter. No one was within 15 yards of that pass. Kemp fell to the ground. McCurley ran it up and out. The pass was far from both.
I've got a feeling McCurley was supposed to run the out pattern. At least that's what Ed Luther thought. See him shaking his head? Hey, wait a minute. According to my playbook, you were on an 8-yard out, and that's where I threw the ball.
We're trying to get an update on Terry Daniels. A contusion on the right knee of Rick Partridge, we understand, should be able to return for the General.
When Daniels walking off the field, both arms were swinging, so that means the shoulders are all right. That's a good sign.
2nd and 10, Jacksonville at the 21. That's Rozier. Breaks one tackle. He's to about the 14-yard line.
Luther complete to Rozier.
They're giving Rozier that, but the problem is he can shake and bake himself, and he did that time.
Take a look at the secondary. They're in zone coverage. They don't want any touchdown passes here. They'll give them the short ones. And now a great move by Mike Rozier. A little spin move to get away. There's the quick feet of Mike Rozier. Not the great straight-ahead speed like Herschel Walker, but side to side, he can run as fast as anybody.
As we conclude 3, the score a bit deceiving. 31-10, yes, but Jacksonville on the move. We'll return. From Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Tim Brando and Mike Hafner with you. You look now at Terry Daniels. We understand he has a concussion, so he'll hopefully heal in time for the playoffs, if not next week or this week. 3rd and 3. Mason close to the first down. Down to about the 11-yard line. Now remember that the ball had been placed at the 14. It appears he has it. Gregory Johnson made the hit for the Generals. The brunt of responsibility offensively with Lewis out of the game now really does fall with Mason, because when he's not pass receiving, he's got to be blocking for Mike Rozier, and he has to know that there's very few behind him. In fact, Mike Whiting really the only guy with appreciable playing time.
Now, don't wave your hand to the sidelines, Mr. Mason. You aren't coming out. Oh, here he comes out now. McCurley moves into the slot. Only one setback, and that's Rozier. And he has it. John Joyce popped him at about the 8-yard line. A first down could be picked up without the benefit of a touchdown. James Lockett also in on the pile. The ball was marked at the 11-yard line. So at the 1, Jacksonville could pick up a first down. They mark it officially at the 7. If you're going to throw it down here, now's the time to throw it. 11 for 34 for Rozier on the evening. Luther to Robert Young. Touchdown. Great catch. Great hand catch. And where did he come from? That's his first reception on the game. You judge receivers by whether they're hand catchers or chest catchers. Anybody can catch in their chest. Not many receivers can catch in their hands. And look at this. Stretched out, nothing but hands. Touchdown. Robert Young. You know he's a good family man. And he just became a finer football player for the Bulls. It's now 31-17. (31-17) our score with 13.5 minutes left in the game. Jacksonville now down by just 2 touchdowns to the Generals. Franco's kick taken in by Pegues. Rod Pegues up to near the 30-yard line. Mike Thomas again on the stop. We do have markers down, and we also have an injured General on the field.
Tackle by Thomas.
Dumont, the backup linebacker, is the injured General.
Return team. First down.
That'll push them back. Bulls need a break now, Tim, to get back in this football game. A quick score at the start of the 4th. If you can get a turnover here and get within 7, it's anybody's ball game. Now, on the other hand, they've got Herschel Walker in the backfield, and they can put an 8-minute drive on you at any time. The odds would not be good for sacking Walker enough to deprive him the record.
True.
I wouldn't think.
No.
From the 15 now after the penalty. By the way, Dumont was the guilty party as well as the injured player. He went off on his own power, so he should be back. Reeves, there are his numbers. Not bad. 31-17, New Jersey leads it. Herschel hunting and pecking and finding a couple of yards. Johnson made the stop. Vaughn Johnson, the linebacker. Herschel likes to run right, and I would too, with 64, Wayne Harris, 76, Don Maggs. Speck, the tight end this time, 81. A little convoy for him. He just kind of sneaks in there and follows the rest of them. I'd like to block as an offensive lineman with that guy sitting behind me. Walt Michaels certainly is happy to have Herschel Walker in his backfield. Compares him to Jim Brown. Walt ought to know, he played with him. Second down, 7, New Jersey. 3 or 4 more. up to about the 29-yard line. That's the power again. That's the moving legs of Herschel Walker that bring about a 4 or 5-yard gain.
Most backs, when they get the first or second hit go down, Walker just leans on him, then he uses his great power to get, 3 more yards? He just pushed the pile forward. It's like a fullback when he needs to be, and he's like a great scat back when he gets outside and has the ability to use his speed or the chance to use it.
3rd down and a yard. Jacksonville's got to believe they have to stop them here. Following Speck and Carthen, Walker may be stopped short. Markers go down as well.
Got a flag.
Terry Beeson made the stop for Jacksonville, along with Joe Costello. They're talking with Jacksonville.
Illegal use of hands on the offense, number 81.
Jeff Speck, the tight end. 3rd year out of San Diego State. One thing about having 2 tight ends like Sam Bowers and Jeff Speck, they go 257 and 241 respectively. That's like having an extra left tackle or right tackle stacked for a fellow like Herschel Walker to run behind him.
I'll tell you what, in this situation, there's a decision here for Lindy and Fonte. I'd refuse the penalty and dare him to run for the first down. Let's see what they do. Now he's going to take the penalty. Now, if Reeves throws a completion for a first down, Lindy's going to be upset.
Well, he's probably looking for with a depleted running backfield. I would imagine he feels that the shorter distance for his offense to go, the better. And should they hold him here, then Partridge would have to come in, damaged goods by now because of his injury in this game. He'd have to punt from about his own end zone.
But knowing Walt Michaels and how conservative he is, I would have figured he punted from there. We'll never know. It's 3rd and 10.
Reeves to Walker in the open field, and Vaughn Johnson did a good job of corralling him, along with Joe Johnson. Vaughn Johnson should get a great deal of credit there. 235-pound linebacker against a 230-pound running back like Herschel Walker, and Johnson wins that battle.
He read the screen perfectly, and now Partridge will have to punt, as you said, a lot deeper.
There he is. Calls himself Herschel Partridge after a touchdown he got this year. And he just did a Herschel Walker act on that punt. He got all of his foot into it. And that forced Kerry Kemp way back. He did return it to his 29-yard line. John Jewell made the stop. It's 31-17 New Jersey. Bulls will be back on offense when we return. Mike Whiting is in the game, sets himself at the top of your screen. Jacksonville with a chance. 10 minutes left. Down a couple of touchdowns, and Rozier is free to the 37-yard line. John Miller, the right outside linebacker, 3rd year out of Mississippi State, made the stop.
Again, the lack of a breakaway threat, either at running back or at wide receiver, it's going to hurt him. If it takes a long time to get in the end zone, you're facing number 34 with his ball control again. They want to strike quick here to really get back in this football game, too.
Harry Kemp in the game. That's him in the slot. And Curley also in the game. Rozier close to the first down. It appears from our vantage point as though he made it. Lockett made the stop. Rozier has 72 and Walker has 166. That's our Heisman battle going on tonight. Clearly Walker will get the nod, at least at this point.
A few more carries, though.
Yeah.
They use a lot of other people on the Jacksonville Bulls side.
To the defense of Rozier with all of the injuries, banged up wide receivers as well. It's being used a bit more than usual tonight. Luther goes to him again. See what we mean? He's up to the 45. Nice gain of about 5 or 6. Jerry Holmes makes the stop, but all the while, the clock continues to tick. 8 minutes and 12 seconds now left.
You know what I'd do in this situation if I were Lindy Infante? I'd run the hurry-up offense. No huddles. Have Ed Luther call the play at the line of scrimmage like a checkoff, because they know they don't have the breakaway threat. It's going to take them time to get in the end zone, so why not save as many seconds as possible?
Robert Young is the tight end, set to the lower portion of your screen. He's out in the pattern now, along with Alexis. First down and out of bounds at the 45. Jerry Holmes and John Preston were there to knock him out of bounds.
There's another way to save some time. You throw the out patterns, the sideline routes, so that your receivers and backs can get out and stop the clock. They want to score before the 5-minute mark. That would be my goal here. That would give you 2 minutes and 44 seconds to go 45 yards.
That's the time remaining. And remember, it's 31-17. New Jersey leading Jacksonville. Rozier has come out of the game. Mike Whiting now, the lone setback behind Luther. Kemp, the intended receiver, and the guy that nearly had it for the interception was Ross Armstrong, a rookie from Penn. Boy, he had that one in his grasp, and I'm sure he'll have big eyes as he goes back to that defensive huddle.
I'll tell you what, if he picks it off here, Tim, the game might be over. That's tough. He was ready to turn around and run back with it. He thought he had it.
Paul Michael scratches his head and says, oh well, one down and a few more to go. 20 of 35 for Luther. Touchdown and an interception recorded by Ed tonight. That's Robert Young over his outstretched arms. John Preston over there covering. So it's now 3rd and 10, and with the ball at the 45, and you're down by 2 touchdowns. If you're in Lindy Infante's corner, are you thinking, well, we have 2 plays to pick up the 10?
Absolutely. They are trying to make the playoffs, and they've got to win 2 out of their last 3. Why not start with 1 here? What's the difference if you get beat 51-17 or 31-17? Doesn't make a difference.
They did get some help from Birmingham. You saw that game here on ESPN back on Saturday amidst all the heat. 14-7 win for the Stallions over Baltimore. Reggie Butts has a first down at the 35-yard line, right in front of Kerry Justin.
Oh, wait a minute. He may have marked that short of the first down.
They may have remarked it. They did, and now
New Jersey's upset.
Gregory Johnson and Kerry Justin and John Joyce both ran over to talk with the linesman to say, now wait a minute, we liked your first spot.
Let's take a look at it. And I've got a feeling that the ball was caught. Oh, sure. His knees are down way past the marker, and then he rolls out of bounds.
A correct call. Very good call. At the 35, first down, Luther for Reggie Butts. Out of bounds.
Nice catch, though.
Simply ran out of terrain. Kerry Justin was there with him man for man.
That's the pass to throw. If it's complete, you're down knocking on the door. If it's not, the clock stops.
By the way, did you notice the guy with the clipboard along the Jacksonville sidelines? On the Jacksonville sidelines, very close to Lindy Infante with 6 minutes and 45 seconds left, as you see it, is Buck Ballou. He just saw his former teammate go into the history books.
He was fortunate enough, number 16, to watch Herschel do his thing in college.
Yes, he was. Luther. Over there with Alton Alexis was Jerry Holmes, and you have to wonder why there was no flag there. Certainly Alton Alexis is wondering.
If you don't put your hands up, it's not face guarding. If you put your hands up, it's face guarding. And Holmes does the perfect thing, just stands right in front of him. He has his right to the ball. If he puts his hands up, it's face guarding. It's just good defense. Good job by Holmes. He's a veteran. He knows. Got to wave the hands in front of him.
6:40 left. 3rd and 10 at the 35. Rozier again, the lone setback. Look in pattern. Reggie Butts was not looking at the look-in.
It's supposed to be a pick play that doesn't work. Butts looking for the pick instead of the football. Alton Alexis was supposed to go to the outside and look at Butts. See, they're running the pick. Now, he may have thrown it too quickly. Butts is trying to pick off number 27, Johnson.
Well, this is your ball game. 4th and 10. The ball at the 35 with 6 minutes and 38 seconds left. Uh-oh. He got away from Lockett. McCurley couldn't come up with it. Lindy and Fonte and staff were looking for a flag again, and they couldn't come up with it. Lockett was all over Ed Luther. So, New Jersey takes over with 6:30 left. They're up a couple of touchdowns. Stay tuned now. Coming up after our game, auto racing from Lime Rock. Exciting. You'll enjoy it right here on your source for sports. Herschel Walker, 153 yards tonight, 27 carries and 2 touchdowns. And 1 carry for 55 that not many of us will ever forget.
No. The record breaker.
First down at 10 for Ron Reed. Walker with a nice cut back for the first down. Great running backs always make the play, even if the game's balance is not.
Take a look at Herschel. First he uses his speed to get outside. Now he'll throttle down to wait for the cutback. See, wait. Make a move to get out of the way and gets 4 extra yards.
And as I mentioned, with the game really over, Herschel Walker keeps running. Now they'll take him out. 28 carries on 39 rushing plays for Herschel Walker tonight. Second down and less than a yard. Carthen stopped by Beeson, among others. Curtis Anderson also in on the pile.
He got the first down, though, Tim. That's what he was in there for.
Officially, there are the stats on Herschel Walker. Just another day at the office for Herschel Walker. 28 carries, 162 yards. We mentioned Buck Ballou being here, his former quarterback at Georgia. There's another person that's at this game that I'm sure was happy to see the run made by Walker tonight. I'll tell you about that in a moment.
That's 10 straight 100-yard games, too.
At the 46-yard line. The Geese lost it, and it's recovered by Anderson, it appears. Now, that would open the door again for Jacksonville. Anderson and Costello both in on the pile. Costello may have come up with the recovery.
We'll never know unless we were in the coaching films whose fault this was, but it looked like Rod Pegues, who doesn't get to play much because of Herschel, gets his first shot, at least in the running back spot, and he fumbles. Oh, it's a good handoff by Reeves. Hit him right in the chest. Puts the ball on the ground, and Jacksonville back in the football game.
Costello made the hit, and Curtis Anderson made the recovery. They're tending him to him now. It's 31-17 New Jersey. Tim Brando along with Mike Hafner back at Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. The Generals leading the Bulls 31-17, but Jacksonville now has another chance after the turnover. Luther to Kemp. John Joyce made the hit. Kemp was still trying to come up with the reception, though.
And Luther threw it just a little bit before the timing was right. Kemp almost makes a great catch. Looking, trying to bat it back to himself. Joyce comes in and knocks it away, though.
4:23 is left. Alton Alexis. First down, he stays in bounds and is down at the 22-yard line. Gregory Johnson and Ross Armstrong made the stop. And the hurry-up offense is in. Now you have to wonder now with McGee's fumbling the ball and Walker coming out, if in fact perhaps they should have left Walker in a little longer.
Hindsight's 20/20, but I'd have left the back who's used to taking the handoff. Turnover is what hurts you.
There goes Rozier inside the 10 to the 8. With the few mistakes made by the Generals offensively, and with Walker still in the game, the ball control offense could have taken over after your defense had shut down Jacksonville with 6.5 left. That's got to be dancing through Walt Michaels' mind right now.
Oh, yeah. Especially if Jacksonville gets in the end zone here. And they got all 3 timeouts left.
3.5 minutes left. Luther, Young, touchdown. That's the second touchdown for Robert Young, and he only has 2 receptions in the game.
Exact same pattern. Pressure on Luther, but they're doing a great job up front, the Bulls offensive linemen. And there's the look on the touchdown, the exact same one he caught before, the same route. A little easier catch.
A high percentage pass as well. The extra point is good, but barely. And the score now, 31-24. So while the ball game may have been locked away with 6.5 left, no one was counting on a fumble by Pegues. New Jersey, over the long haul, keeps their miscues to a minimum. Birmingham and New Jersey do a great job of hanging on to the ball, and Birmingham sewn up a spot, and New Jersey could tonight. But Walker was not in the game with just a 2-touchdown lead and better than 5.5 minutes left, and the helmet is on.
Which means he's going to be back in. Walt won't make the same mistake twice.
Many may wonder if indeed, when this game's over, Generals, players, and coaches alike might say that their team went a bit flat after the 55-yard touchdown by Herschel
They
Walker.
did. They did go flat.
That kick could go out of bounds, but before it does, it's fumbled, and Jacksonville may have it.
They do.
It is Rodney McMillan. Rodney McMillan has got it at the 3-yard line. Pegues again is involved in a play that stuns the New Jersey crowd. It was a pooch kick, very much like the one we had at the game's outset. And here it is again.
Pegues got to get up and even bat this ball out of bounds. That's what they teach you. Now, when it starts bouncing around there, there's a chance to recover it, and look at McMillan. He got himself a game tire, maybe.
Broughton and Collins both got a hand on it once they realized somebody had to grab the potato. Rodney McMillan wound up with it, and the Pandora's box has been opened.
You know what hurts? If you go up to play for the onside kick, then you don't have enough people to get that one that's bouncing around in the backfield.
From the 3, Rozier to the 2. A few of the 36,000 plus had already hit the exits. Mike Weddington made the stop.
They better come back now. This could go into overtime.
4 turnovers committed by New Jersey, 2 for Jacksonville, 3 fumbles tonight. What a rarity. That just does not happen to the New Jersey Generals, at least not usually.
Let's talk a little bit about if they score. On the road, you play for the tie and the breaks to get in the end zone. We'll see if he goes for the 2-point extra point. It should get in, but he's going to let it go down to the 2-minute warning.
They'll have an opportunity to talk about it, and remember, all those timeouts remain for Jacksonville. It's 31-24. 2 minutes are left, 4th quarter, New Jersey leading by a touchdown. It all appeared to be over until this took place.
Again, there's only one back to receive the kick back there because they're all up front expecting the onside kick. And when you're running backwards trying to pick up that pigskin, it squirts around everywhere, and McMillan is right there.
Second down and goal. Rozier. He doesn't get there, and he doesn't get there by plenty. Kyle Borland led the charge. Lindy and Fonte must come up with another play. Now the ball is right on the 2-yard line.
Toughest 2 yards in football.
Norris Brown is in the game. Robert Young is in the game. Remember now, he has a couple of touchdowns receiving the tight end. He is up at the top of your screen there.
I'd roll out here. Got an opportunity to do 2 things. Run it in or throw it in.
Rozier. No. Borland again. John Joyce and Kyle Borland in on the pile. So the Jacksonville Bulls with every opportunity. There is Ed Luther. He's hurt. They're taking him off the field, and now Robbie Mahfouz must come into the game. It's been like a bad dream for Jacksonville's offense with injuries.
Rolled up on the back of his legs. Something happened to him.
You noticed he was so upset when he came off, he may have been mad at himself a bit.
How would you like to be Robbie Mahfouz now? You've been sitting for almost 60 minutes. And you come in with 39 seconds to go, and you got 4th and goal at the 4 to try and get him in for the tying touchdown along with an extra point.
Not bad numbers, but very little playing time on the year from southeastern Louisiana. Robbie Mahfouz. There is Ed Luther, and watch the right leg of Ed Luther as we show you this play again.
This is a better angle. You'll see the leg get rolled up on, crunches right underneath him. Oh, that hurts.
Pennison, the
His
guard.
own guard.
Yep.
Stepped on his foot. Look at Luther. He's in pain. Pennison's the center, 57, and he steps right on the side of his ankle and then pops the knee out to the outside. And oh, what a bad break for Jacksonville.
So there's Ed Luther. Down and out. And enter Robbie Mahfouz in his 3rd year from southeastern Louisiana. That's in Hammond. He did play some time at LSU, has played a number of games the last couple of years for Jacksonville.
But he's never sat for 59 minutes and had a crucial play like this.
Mahfouz in trouble. Young! Oh, how close to a 3rd touchdown reception was Robert Young. Walt Michaels breathes a sigh of relief. And how close came Robbie Mahfouz from being a hero?
Al Young trying for his 3rd touchdown pass. Reception. Mahfouz throws it up. Young's got a chance. The secondary is all over him, Jerry Holmes. Or is that Johnson?
It was Holmes.
It was Holmes. Jerry Holmes is going to be all over Young's back. Now, he has a right to the ball, too. This is a prayer shot. And I'll tell you what, he had it in his hands for a second, but Holmes made the great play. Still 3 timeouts for Jacksonville. I take that back. They only have 2.
That's right. They used one after Luther had been hurt. They just took another one. Lindy and Fonte can't believe it. With every break that could have happened, Jacksonville let it slip away just a bit. Give New Jersey's defense a heck of a lot of credit.
1st and goal at the 2. They pushed him all the way back to 4th and goal at the 4.
Free safety Gregory Johnson made a big play. Jerry Holmes, seasoned veteran, made a big play. Unfortunately for Jacksonville, Ed Luther got hurt. Now, Lindy and Fonte's team now must go to Memphis, and he has to win both games. Playing at the Liberty Bowl is no piece of cake. Then Denver, Mouse Davis's run and shoot, will play at Jacksonville. New Jersey has left Oakland on the road. That game to be here on ESPN next week.
And that's important, by the way, for the Denver Gold.
And then Birmingham. But New Jersey will have sewn up a playoff spot after this victory. Another timeout is called.
And their last.
You have to feel for that guy right there, Ed Luther. He's waited so long for the opportunity, both in the NFL and in the USFL, and to have the last gasp taken away by his own center in what was just a fluke play is awfully difficult. And he'll have to deal with that all the way back to Jacksonville,
Especially if he's got torn ligaments in that knee.
Well, the playoff picture now leaves Jacksonville in a situation where they must win. There's Mahfouz along with Lindy and Fonte. Luther now has a knee strain, we understand. It's not serious, so he can return.
Sigh of relief.
Once again, they just hold on to the ball, and that should do it.
Can't stop the clock.
The playoff contenders, there they are. New Jersey now, along with Denver, Oakland, and Birmingham, they've sewn up a spot. Houston's in a bit of a jam. They have to keep winning. Tampa Bay in a bit of a jam. Memphis on the way up with all those games at home. Baltimore 8-7-1. Then there's Jacksonville at 8-8. We had a little bit of everything tonight. Herschel Walker set a record. Walt Michaels' team fell prone to mistakes, and Lindy and Fonte's ball club was there to answer, with the exception of one time. And that one time cost the Jacksonville Bulls a chance for a huge upset. So the Generals clinch it and win it. The final again, 31-24. New Jersey beats the Jacksonville Bulls. There's Walt Michaels making his way off. And we'll return with some post-game activities, a chat with Herschel Walker when we come back. The New Jersey Generals have beaten the Jacksonville Bulls 31-24 for Herschel Walker tonight. 2 touchdowns, 162 yards rushing, and Herschel, congratulations on a great game, and I know you have to be ecstatic about the record.
Yes, I'm very excited about it, but first let me thank the Lord Jesus Christ, because he's made everything happen for me, as well as my offensive line. They made things work out, and I think right now we deserve a party.
Herschel, this Mike, people will say you did it in the other league. How do you feel about that?
Well, you know, you can never shut up critics. I think that's what the big things are. They're critics. But I don't think my teammates or I are really worried about that. All we worried about it, we accomplished something. And most of all, you know, I'm honored to be in that elite group with OJ and Eric, because they are wonderful backs, and I'm very proud to be in that group.
If you could have drawn it up on a playbook, would it have been a 55-yard touchdown run, Herschel?
Yes, I think so, because offensive line got a great surge off the ball, and you know, I broke it up in there, and I sort of lost sight. I sort of ducked my head, and I had to make a spin. I think if I had kept my eye on what was going on, it would have been a much easier run for me.
All right, Herschel, congratulations from both Mike Hafner and myself, and keep it going.
Thanks a lot, and let me say again that let's thank the Lord Jesus Christ for making everything work for us.
All right, Herschel Walker breaks the record, and the New Jersey Generals win it. Herschel Walker goes into the record books of professional football with this run. For Mike Hafner, Tim Brando saying so long from the Meadowlands in East Rutherford, New Jersey.